Hello everyone, and welcome to my next video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, where we're going to be taking on a new journey EX quest, or Lulu's EX quest in this case, and I'm going to be bringing along a party of Sephiroth, Rosa and Quistis with a Rinoa friend and Bahamut summon. So I tried to record this once before, but the last wave didn't go too well, perhaps because I was playing a little bit greedy and playing to try and get as high score as I could, and basically it was just, it was not good news. So I'm going to be playing a little bit more cautiously this time. Lulu's banner itself, I kind of went through this before, but Final Fantasy X, I'm not going to call it my favourite Final Fantasy game of all time, but it's definitely up there, and to be honest it probably shares the joint top spot with 9 as like my most replayed game in the franchise. In fact, if I'm going to be honest, I'm not actually sure which one I've replayed more times. I really do quite like 10. Although, for some reason in my head, a lot of its characters aren't really as iconic as some of the other games, with the potential exception of Seymour, and the definite exception of Jecht. I really do like Jecht, even though he's kind of a shitty parent, but there's just something charming about him that I like. And I'm going to be honest, right? If Jecht had his English voice actor, I would have pulled for his EX here, because that guy is just, I don't know, Japanese voices are usually consistently good, but that guy's English voice is just friggin' amazing in my opinion. I just like it. I don't know why. But unfortunately that was not the case, and as a result, because I don't need him, I don't need anyone else on the banner, I already have Sephiroth fitted out, so I'm not going to be pulling here. Lulu is a character I find quite interesting because her gimmick is that she both enchants the party with fire and also imperils fire on the enemies as well. So your non-elemental attackers, especially Sephiroth in particular, but also fire attackers like Jecht and like Vivi that we're going to be having coming up will really benefit from that. But one thing I'm not entirely too sure about is how viable she's going to be in Cosmos, because she has 13 skill uses and she doesn't have an EX weapon, and yeah, she has a HP plus, but it's not going to be dealing reams of damage. So does the extent to which she enables everyone else to do vastly higher amounts of damage justify her own limited contributions during, say, a Cosmos stage? And I'm not sure that it does, to be honest. So from a purely sort of meta perspective, I'm going to be skipping her this time around. But you damn well better bet when her Lost Chapter rolls around, I'm going to be pitting the shit out of that EX. Like, even if I get Jex along the way, I am going for Lulu 100%. Because, yeah, I like her from 10. But also her mechanics, especially at that time in the Japanese version, because there's some changes to elemental resistance. So if you imperil an element, and the enemy's weak against an element, and you attack with that element, it overrides weapon resistance, like weapon damage type resistance. That obviously isn't the case in Globally yet, so she's not as good as she could be if that were the case. So I'm probably going to be skipping her this time. I'm going to be honest, the temptation is quite real to throw something at the banner and see what I end up with. But we have the Final Fantasy IX story banner at the end of the month with Freya, Zidane EX and Vivi EX, presuming they don't change the banner, and the reworks as well. So I'm looking forward to that banner for many reasons. I've been quite lucky on my pulls recently, so I've got like some spare resources. You damn well bet I'm going to be throwing at least 100 tickets at that banner to see what happens. But the release of that banner is also the release of a new story chapter, which is awesome, and it also means more gems, which is also awesome, and it's the debut of Cosmos difficulty, and I've been waiting for that for quite some time, let me tell you, because our current content, in my opinion, is just too damn easy. Sorry to say. It's like, I mean, okay, if you run outdated characters or you haven't been very lucky recently, then it's probably more difficult. But with the number of strong characters we've had coming out recently, I mean, now we've got Lulu and Jecht, we've got Sephiroth, we've got Quistis, we've got Rinoa, we've got reworked Cloud, and we've got reworked Firion. even Onion Knight to a lesser degree, and Kuja to a lesser degree, but we've got so many strong characters, and Golbez, how could I forget Golbez? We've got so many strong characters out now that statistically it's very unlikely that you won't have at least one of them, if not more, and they just make everything so much easier. So we are absolutely in a lull of difficulty right now, and yeah, okay, Agrius EX was kind of bullshit, and I'm glad to have that awfully designed fight behind me, even though I did pull for Agrius, so I didn't really struggle with it that much when I used her. But at the same time, I don't agree with that. I don't think a fight should be that dependent on the boosted units to, you know, to stand a chance. Of course, then they dropped Bart's rework right before the end of it, which actually made it manageable, and I put a video up for that, but I digress. I'll be looking forward to Cosmos personally, because things have been a bit face roll for a while, so it'll be nice to have that like jump in difficulty to really challenge all the powerful characters we've got now. So, for this stage, because I am not bringing along Lulu, I am bringing along Rosa instead, because she mainly exists to allow Sephiroth to deal insanely higher amounts of damage. That's her main function. You know, no other reason. She has the biggest attack aura in the game. That's like, you know, that counts for something. Quistis also has dual auras, and her delays and debuffs will help sort of keep the enemy turns under control, which is what I want to happen, really. But the only problem with this team is that we have no wave clearing potential, so that's why I'm bringing along a Rinoa friend. And a Rinoa friend has the advantage that you can actually use Angel Wing on turn 1. And yeah, you lose a turn of your friend unit, but it doesn't consume a turn to the turn count, so in terms of scoring it's actually quite good. And then you can just kind of use her to clear out the first couple of waves, and then on the mid-boss then you can drop the EX and do shit tons of damage. So I'm just going to take the moment to show my artifacts for Sephiroth when the game decides that it wants to load, and for some reason loads directly into the ability menu, I don't know why. So here's what I've got for Sephiroth at the moment. I'm almost finished farming up his Idojas. As you can see, I've got some pretty good ones. I've got two 108 330s, I've got a 108 Fervent, and I've got a 108 CS50. I want to replace this with either a 108 Fervent or a 108 CS50, this middle one, and then I will call my Sephiroth done. For this stage I'm using, like, I could use 108 330 here, but the last boss has so much defense that we need every bit of attack we can get, because we will not be capping Brave on Sephiroth, and it's a single target boss, not a double boss, which is why I'm not using my own Rinoa, because, well, to be honest, if I brought my own Rinoa, that maybe the damage that she would do would help compensate for the damage that the Rosa lacks and that Sephiroth would be missing. I'm not sure if that's the case, but this is the team I'm running with because it's my single target specialist. Of course, Rosa has no choice but to bring along the only workable artifacts that I managed to get for her, because we never had Idojas back then. For some reason, even though we had it on the bloody special event thing, but we didn't get them for Rosa and didn't get them for Quistis either, which is really fucking annoying. Square, why you do this? Anyway, that's what I've got. Friend or no, it doesn't really matter, I guess, that much. And of course this one doesn't have Boardmaster or like any artifacts by the looks of things, despite the fact that the one I used before did, but then I ended up dying, which is not good. And of course this guy hasn't followed me back, that's annoying. So we might actually not be able to kill the Chimera depending on the turn order, but we'll see how things end up. We'll see. So let's go. Let's see if we can't do better this time than the time that you didn't see. Okay, so the move's going to push Quistis back, which is... it is what it is. So we swap Quistis out for Rinoa. We don't need Quistis yet. Turn 1, or the first turn that Rinoa gets, we use Angel Wing. So we don't use a turn, but we can just delete the trash. No problem. And then, for some reason, Rosa has seen fit to steal a turn. For no reason, So I'm actually going to use Angelo Cannon here. Normally I would use HP plus here and then Angelo Cannon on the next turn. But you see we've got 3 friend turns left. I can use the Angelo Cannon, then I can Angel Wing Meteor, then I can HP plus. So this actually works out. We have to use Angelo Cannon to get her healed up into Rosa's prayer range, otherwise it wouldn't really work. Sadly we are probably going to take some damage from this thing, as a result I'll get broken. Oh god, this Renault is so weak. Wow, this is what happens if you don't farm your Ifrit boards, kids, and you don't do your artifacts. You end up with weak characters. I do not approve. Don't skip out on your grinding. Okay? It's important. So we don't need to use skill there. What are you talking about? So that should break it, right? Yeah, that's fine. I'm not sure if it would have overkilled if I would have used Divine Blast. I'm not wasting a Luminous Arrow on that thing. You know, you can get stuck. Absolutely, we want to Octa Slash because we're going from low current brave. Now Quistis comes back in. So for Quistis, we want to Laser Whip because if you take a look at the details for this thing, it's actually immune to speed down, and attack down, and defense down, and in brave, and max brave down. So yeah, that's not happening. But Quistis needs debuffs for her auras, so we have quote unquote no choice but to use Laser Whip to get something red on there, like so. So I am actually going to go ahead and use, so because Sephiroth does so much damage, you can almost make the argument that using his EX skill is actually not that great from a sort of damage perspective, but it does give him brave regen and it does give him max brave, so I'm going to use it at the very least on the first turn. So 41k is not too bad. Plus the brave regen he gets will be amplified by Rosa, so there is that. So for this one, I am going to be using a Degenerator Whip here. We want to get that thing's turns away from us as fast as possible. Please, thank you. We're just killing time until Bahamut's charged at this point. So I'm going to Fervent here because my Sephiroth has quite high current brave. So we should be able to hit the brave cap and then... yeah, there we go. So because this thing's defense is so high, it's not as good as it would normally be. Like, this thing's defense is so high that Fervent isn't like as good, because normally I say if you hit your brave cap and then if you do more than 50% of your brave cap worth of damage, then Fervent is the best skill to use because Octa Slash is capped at 7 hits and 150% overflow. But this thing is so tanky that there's basically no chance of that ever actually being the case, which is slightly ridiculous. So I'm actually going to, so if I pray here, I'll be doing 9k to everyone, or something like that, which is a total of 27. So if I do an attack on it, then I'm going to be hitting it for like, what, 10k damage, and I'll battery like, yeah, so it's actually better for me to pray here, to be honest, in terms of efficiency, with the brave. To slash is better as well. So the mistake I made here the first time round was I got hit by this all attack and everyone got broken. But here, the summon is going to charge in time, so I'm not as bothered by that. And it charges just on time, so we actually get to go into summon. Yeah, the first time round I actually got twatted by the all attack. And it got 3 turns in a row and ended up killing me, so that can happen sometimes. But now we get to go all out on this thing, and I'm not sure if the high turn rate on Fervent Blow is actually going to come clutch here or not for me. Maybe not. Doesn't look like it. No, it's not going to, is it? Well, we'll use Homing Whip then. And then we'll use Slash. And then Time Blast. Nice degen whip. And hopefully this should finish it. There we go. Carried by Sephiroth. Always a pleasure. There we go. So, that is going to be my video for the Lulu event. I hope everyone enjoyed watching, and I will catch you guys all in the next video. See ya!